Good morning.
Just need a room for a few nights. Y'all take cash?
We take cash. That's fine. Yeah. Our hunting season doesn't start for about 2 weeks.
I know, sir. I ain't deer hunting.
There's my favorite nephew. You can give me a hug. Come on. You know, Jason White got out of prison. He's been out about a month. I just thought you should know.
What do you think was gonna happen here? Telling me all this? Might have just lived my life out here and never known. He's out in the same world I am. I know that now thanks to you.
I couldn't help but notice the plates on the back. What brings you around here?
Just looking for work.
What kind of work do you do?
Do you remember what you used to say about shooting? You said that aiming was the hardest part. Pulling the trigger was easy. Why is that?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saving a Seat, where we save you a seat for some great indie film. I'm Joe Compton, and as always, I'm joined by
the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Bryan.
So the trailer you just saw is the movie called "Fall Is a Good Time to Die," a film by Dalton Coffey, starring Joe Hyatt, Joey Lauren Adams, which was a nice surprise here.
That was a great surprise.
Jennifer Pierce Mathis, another good surprise. It's interesting, the movies we've been running around, because there is movies that hum at the beginning. There's movies that take time to hum. There's movies that kind of hold a steady pace. And this is one of those movies that I really was going, okay, are we going to get to what ultimately I think we're going to get to? And
yeah,
you know,
this took a minute, and then it kind of went away that I'm like, okay, I didn't dislike this film, but it, how do I put this? It's not so much that I dislike this film, but this one didn't resonate with me as much as I wanted it to. I enjoy, and that's not even saying that it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not poo-pooing it. It's just, I think that the way the narrative went, the narrative storytelling doesn't fit with me. I like the idea of the story. I think it's really, really good. This is an idea of, it's a tale of redemption and vengeance. Joey Lauren Adams she's kind of a despicable character hiding behind a sweet facade.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really good.
She's the foil in this movie.
She really is.
Yeah.
She really is.
So this is what I wrote. I wrote, it's like a jigsaw puzzle where you manage to put all the edges together, but the middle is still a huge mystery. And for a good portion of fitting in those pieces, 30 minutes in, we don't still know what we're looking at. And I also wrote that it's a much slower version of Fargo.
Yeah, that's good. That works. I tell you what, for me, I felt like I was getting ready to watch another episode of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
But and that's just what the way the setting is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, I will never go to South Dakota, even if you paid me. And then, but
yeah,
I'll
there's a lack of color in South Dakota.
A whole lack of color. But I'll say that the character Cody in this, for what he's looking to do, he's very much a child trying to play grown up. And he's very, very subdued emotionally, and that comes from the trauma.
I think this is one of those films that's very interesting because I believe a lot of what I like is in the very beginning of this movie. There's a lot of great shots with shadows where he's putting in fence posts and stuff like that. And there's not a lot of writing involved in that, right? And
it's all
and
body language.
When he's meeting his girlfriend and they're watching the sunset, very interesting shot wise. And then you get Joey Lauren Adams involved, and she prods the cattle, and then we get going with the plot. I think it turns and shifts into all about the writing. And I was very curious to hear your take on what you thought the writing was, because I felt like the vagueness of it and it was a kind of a smart play here when it is super slow.
Yeah, I think when in film, because this film is really the only real medium that you can do this in. You can't do that in novelization or even in animation. You tell a lot of a story with body language. That's definitely show me without telling me, but we get our real meat of our dialogue in the writing. Yeah, when Joey Lauren Adams comes on, and then that's when we see the acting. Now the young man that plays Cody, yeah, I'll tell you what, Joey Lauren Adams shows you just how great of an actress she is, and he had to play catch up. Yeah. And that's nothing against him. That's just her showing her experience.
For me, Jennifer Pierce Mathis steals the show for me as the sheriff in this movie.
Yeah.
I think she's really, once she comes on, there is a layer to this film that kind of moves the film a little bit. I think it becomes, like I said, it becomes a slow version of Fargo at that moment. It also layers the film because there's something with her going on as well. And it kind of is an interesting way that it starts to beat. Like you can start to feel the heartbeat a little bit.
Well, see, it frustrated me a little bit because she came in out of nowhere. And then you have these two storylines happening at the same time. And then they come together, which it's a narrative choice. And, far be it from me to critique it because they've written a movie and I haven't. So, but I think that an amazing job was done where you had your strongest performers involved, where some of your weaker performers, they were there just to help move things along. I mean, in the case when Cody is trying to get map directions and everything,
yeah,
that was kind of clunky, little awkward. But at the same token, for me, it showed me is that he's still an awkward child trying to play grown up. But he's driven, and anyone with a driven purpose is going to try to make it work. Although I can't help it. When we started to get to our climax, I laughed my ass off because it's like all this setup and you went down like a bitch. I'm sorry. Like, I hope that doesn't spoil the experience, but I think at the same token, it proves my point. Yeah. He's a boy trying to play grown up.
I think the end is kind of cool.
The end is kind of cool.
It kind of ties everything what you're saying together, all the loose ends together a little bit, which I think is really neat that it does that. I also learned that Dalton Coffey, who wrote and directed this movie, made the music for the movie, which is very Clint Eastwood-esque. Yeah, there's a lot of Eastwood-ness in this. There's also a lot of, like, this reminds me a lot of A Straight Story by David Lynch, too, where you're kind of combing the countrysides of nowhere.
I can see that. That's a good reference by you. I like that. It definitely does. I think it's kind of cool when you see actors and directors using their other talents to sort of support theirs. Very John Carpenter-esque. And I definitely appreciate that. This is a film that if you liked a No Country for Old Men, I think you should check this out because it's a very, very similar setting.
Am I a bad person?
Sometimes.
Thank you, but let me finish. If I don't invite the
way, or get as close as possible without being intimate.
No.
Okay.
Why wasn't Larry at my party?
Bruce Waters didn't want me invited to his own surprise party.
Huh?
This is all Bruce Waters' fault.
Yep.
Thank you both.
Oh my God, Bruce is dead!
Larry, please tell me you didn't kill Bruce.
What? Me?
You have to put Larry in jail.
We don't have evidence.
That's so crazy.
We need to get Larry fired.
Someone's getting fired for smoking a joint in the office, so we're gonna drug test you. If you get any of this on me, I will kill you.
What are you guys doing?
Nothing.
Oh, behind my back? Beer without me?
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
There you go. Is it just me, or does that smell a little like pee?
No, it's you.
Okay, just checking.
No.
Someone is messing with me. If someone tried to mess with one of you, my best friends, I'd kill that person.
Is it just a coincidence that all this bad stuff is happening in the office this week?
This wasn't coincidences.
And what was it?
Karma. Please, don't be such a worrywart. There's still plenty of time for Bruce to learn his lesson as he fell from the window to the ground. 2,000, 3,000. Yeah. Had enough time.
It is what it is, what it isn't, right?
Exactly.
Which leads us into the next film you just saw a trailer for. Don't Tell Larry, and no doubt.
I'm always there for some Ed Begley Jr. I've been a low-key fan of Ed Begley Jr. for so many years.
Even in his short stint in the movie.
Yeah. For me, this is The Office meets Office Space. I don't know, something creepy. Like Transylvania's 65,000 level creepiness. You laugh,
yeah,
but it gets really scary because we've all known a Larry.
We don't even get 2 minutes in, and I'm already laughing, and and it's the creepy moment when he goes, it's the coffee for Larry, and then you just see Larry like saddle right up to her, right next to her. I just chuckled out loud. I go,
yeah, the awkwardness of not knowing physical boundaries. It's always a good trope. It's always good to get a quick laugh to get you started.
Okay, so the writing here we'll talk about, the shots we'll talk about, but I really think that we have to touch on this because I believe that of all the movies we're going to talk about in this year, and this is, spoiler alert, this is going to be one of those we're going to talk about at the end of the year, no doubt. For me anyway, I think. I don't speak for my colleague, but the acting.
I think we can talk about this at the end of the year.
I think the acting in this movie is fucking spectacular. I think it saves so much. Patty Guggenheim, Kenneth Mosley, Keel Kennedy, Dot Marie Jones. We have to talk about that. All of these guys, and Ed Begley Jr., obviously, who's in a short brief, and then creepy guy that takes over for Ed Begley Jr. The acting is phenomenal in this movie. It sells everything.
I'm going to say something, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. The acting in this is too good for an indie film. And when I say that, I say this because how many times have we watched certain films, Joe, where the acting is just a little bit awkward, the wording, the everything, and
it's a little behind, it's a little clunky, it's a little, but yeah, I mean, Patty Guggenheim,
Madison herself. I love Patty. Like Patty Guggenheim is definitely she's become a favorite of mine. She played Madison in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. She is so amazing in this as our lead character, Susan, who is not a very good person, but tries to hide behind this idea of karma. And it's the worst reason to do it. Oh, well, I'm going to do good things, so good things have to happen to me.
There's so much circular reasoning going on in this movie. It's so incredible.
She does more mental gymnastics. You know what? She does Simone Biles level mental gymnastics, okay?
And poor Kenneth Mosley's along for the ride.
I know, right? Oh, my goodness. Oh, and Kenneth Mosley is Patrick. He is so lovable. I'm like, bruh, you need a better friend.
Dude, the other thing I love, the reveals here are so clever. They're so interesting.
It's so well done.
You feel like you've settled in and you finally figured it out, or that it's going to go the way you think it's going to go, and it twists and turns. And it's really, and it's not an out of the realm twist or turn. I mean, there's one where I go, okay, that's a little far-fetched, but
But even when
still.
it does that, it does it in a way that is fun. Dot Marie Jones in this, she made me laugh so hard. And you'll remember Dot Marie Jones from Boondock Saints, where she got decked by Sean Patrick Flannery. But she is so good in this, and she is like, you root for her so much.
Kill Kennedy has to be mentioned here.
Kill Kennedy. Oh my God! Like,
wow.
I've
never met anybody who could be more creepy.
I'm serious. Look, no, I have not felt this uncomfortable with a character since Peyton in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's really great about his performance is that it's almost just innocent, but it's sinister. He does a really good job.
There are some layers that are peeling in an onion in this that he does incredibly with.
Bro, man got more layers than Shrek. Like, everyone in this movie is so odd.
It is, and they all have these moments where they kind of pierce the veil, and then you kind of go, "What the fuck is happening?
What, where, when, how, why?"
This is a movie where timing is everything, tempo is everything, and it works so well. I will talk a little bit of the nerdiness of it, because what they do that makes it so interesting is they go from wide shots to close-ups, and every time one of those happens, a reveal happens, and it's very cool how they do that, because it's not always the same thing. Like the biggest reveal is a close-up. It is an extreme close-up, and then the very first reveal, which I just talked about, where he saddles up to Susan, is a wide shot,
right?
And it just happens. It's like it just cuts right to it. It's very cool how they do that. That is a very, very talented editor that did that. John Smickey and Greg Porporo deserve a lot of credit for how they designed this film and put it together, and who they cast. Obviously, very important. I really find an interesting fact about this movie is that it was a failed pilot that they turned into a feature. Probably got some advice from a studio, said, "Hey, we're not going to make this into a series. You might want to make it into a movie, and maybe then you'll get a series out of it that way."
Right.
Which is what a lot of my friends are getting. I have friends right now who have a similar thing going on. And that was the advice that they had gotten. They told me that was the exact advice they got. So I could totally see how this happened like that.
And that's odd, because how many movies have we watched where we talk about it privately, and it was like, that'd be better off as a series, man.
Yeah,
like, come on.
totally.
And now here's the exact opposite.
Totally.
This is a film where dark comedy is actually a really good description. Because how many, like, I wouldn't consider Return of the Living Dead a dark comedy, because it's horror comedy, but they've also said it's dark comedy. It's horror with some funny aspects.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. This is actual legit dark comedy.
It is,
and this is what I want in my dark comedy. I want to laugh out loud while being uncomfortable.
The other thing that I really love is the notion that doing the right thing always comes into play, and there's just something that twists it to make it not happen, right? Which is so great. That's such a great device. It's such a great writing device, personally.
Well, plus, because the thing is, every time they do something that's supposed to be doing the right thing, there's always selfish motive behind it, and that's what's screwing it up. And then they're doing this stuff, and they're just digging themselves into a deeper hole, and it never stops.
The end is fucking great.
It is insane. So it is absolutely insane. And what's weird is that if there was just one decision made, and if they didn't make that one decision, none of this happens. That is my favorite thing about this movie. The one decision.
And every decision that's made after that just makes it worse, which is great too.
Oh my God. And I'll tell you what, this was my favorite tampering with a urinalysis scene ever. It replaces the previous title holder of Rock and Roll High School Forever with Corey Feldman. Okay. Awesome. That just shows you how long it's been since I've had a favorite a straight up urinalysis scene.
I think this movie doesn't miss. I think it's a hit all the way through.
It's a home run. It's a home run.
It's and like I said, I have to say, of all the movies that we've watched and all the movies that we've loved, this is the best acting by far I've seen, because they're perfect. They all of the characters in this movie, like Office Space in a lot of respects, I think that's an apt comparison, are perfect. They perfectly cast this movie. It is everybody here plays a role in it and does it to perfection. It is miscast. And that's what sells this, because a lot of this is ridiculous, right?
It's absolutely.
I mean,
bonkers.
There's one thing I can point to that makes that everybody would make sense to. There's something that happens in an Uber that happens, and all I can say to that is, doesn't Uber have security measures that would never make that happen?
No, right?
What's up, ladies?
Elvis Mitchell of the New York Times says raising Victor Vargas is like sunshine burning through a cloud bank.
What you waiting for, Playboy? I'm waiting for the right moment. Just go.
Is he coming this way? I think so. Do you see the wall of isolation?
You remember what you told me, y'all? I'm Victor.
Who's this? The guy from the pool, right?
Can I talk to you for a minute? My name is Victor Vargas.
What do you want?
This is my family. But I need help with this one.
This is it. So all the Victor love happens.
Has he committed a crime?
No, he don't do that.
You realize you can't just put him out?
Why?
It's hot. You not hot?
Yeah.
Got a fan in my room. Wanna go to my room and chill?
No, I'm not that hot.
Edward Guthman of the San Francisco Chronicle says one of the thrills of Sundance is discovering raising Victor Vargas.
It's not even a relationship. You know he's gonna think that you guys are really together, right? Let me tell you something about me. I like my space.
I think you have me around because you need a guy to take care of you, right?
I don't need no one to take care of me.
A.O. Scott of the New York Times says the film is an achievement with a glow of enchantment.
2 days!
Follow that girl. Don't come back in the house anymore. Only thing you have is me.
No, Ma. You remember, Ma. The only thing you have is us. Nosotros, okay?
You're the closest I ever been with a boy.
Man, I wanted you to see me down to my beat-down chocolatas, these beat-down shorts. I wanted you to meet my crazy moms and my sister and my little brother.
Why?
Because that's me. All right, so we just take things slow. Whatever you want, you call the shots, all right?
Okay. Very cool.
This episode, I got to expose Bryan to a movie I hadn't seen in a long time, and revisiting it made it very interesting for me, because I'll tell you this, Bryan, but this was one of the two movies, this and Brick, that I had the most conversations with film friends about. It was very polarizing when it came out, and very interesting in the way that it presented itself, because it was different. It was unique. Grittiness, its use of natural light, it's making you feel like it was a documentary. These were all unheard of things that didn't happen back then. And seeing it and rewatching it, it doesn't, for me, it didn't lose that element, but it's very interesting. And I would love to hear your perspective on a first timer seeing this and how you felt about all of that.
I thought that this was taking place in the 90s. This came out in 2002, and this has some folks in it very young and very early in their careers.
Yes.
That, like, right off the top, Melanie Diaz, who recently you've seen her in the Charmed reboot. Now that I know that this was actually her, I might actually watch it.
Marte was pegged as a star when this movie came out. She was going to be the next big thing.
You know what? I can see why. Melanie Diaz was also in Fruitvale Station, for those that don't know. This is a film that at first I was not liking our protagonist. Now, remember, I'm of the school, and this is a school that was introduced to me in full by the Birdman. Shout out to him. But I always felt like this. You don't have to like your protagonist. And I hated Victor Vargas. Oh my God. This kid was so obnoxious, such an asshole, but he's a child with tons of bravado. Yeah. And we were all like that as a kid. You know, and but I'll tell you,
really paints a picture of family orienting in that time period.
What it does is that it's showing that not all families are what we see on TV. I think this is probably among the I don't want to say earlier times, but this film is sort of showing the grittiness of growing up in New York City in the Lower East Side. And how those folks, even at this point in a post 9/11 world, were living together still. It was like the outside world didn't exist. Anything outside of their neighborhood did not exist, which I really appreciated, because one thing that you'll notice, how in some movies where you're in a centralized location like this, where they have news reports or magazines or newspapers to let you know about the world going on, that doesn't happen here. This follows the perspective of the kids during the summertime. There is no world outside their world because their world is their whole world. And I think that was really, really great. Victor Vargas is the oldest of 3 children who from Dominican Republic family whose parents have deceased and they're living with their grandparents. Well, the sister, they don't know who her dad is, but they're living with their grandmother, played amazingly by, and I'm going to butcher her name, Altagracia Guzman. And she is like, the one thing that I appreciate about this film is the authenticity. It shows you the quirks without making them caricature. And it grew on me as the film went on.
Yeah, I think to this day, I said this at the time, Harold and Melanie's love story is one of my favorites I've ever seen on screen.
Harold and Melanie, and what I really like is that,
and I know that's not the main.
They're not the main characters, but I kind of wish they were.
Yeah,
because Victor is so insufferable until he gets to his come to Jesus moment.
Yeah,
Victor Rasuk is he's amazing in this, and I like the Harold and Melanie. But and the thing is, once we got to them, their happy ending, we didn't focus on them anymore. We didn't have to. Their story was told. And what was great about their story is that it set the stage for what Victor and Judy's story could be.
Another interesting fact about this movie is that you have a very renowned director in Peter Sollett, who has since gone on. He's done episodes of Peacemaker. He did Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, for those who like that movie. Your Honor, which was this really interesting, gritty movie. But the only film he's ever written is this one.
And it was
very interesting.
Really, really good. Now, I don't know much about him. I'm not really, but I'll tell you what, he put me in this section of New York. Because when we see movies like this, your lead characters are miserable about their place in life. You don't get that from these kids. These kids,
no,
this is their life.
The exact opposite, actually.
Yeah, they love their lives. This is our life, and we're good with it. This movie is definitely one of those coming of age films. It shows a side of New York where they'll try to say that it's not like this anymore, but it is, and there's nothing wrong with that.
When Victor gets threatened to be removed from this life, that's when he changes.
You know what? It kind of reminds me of, in a lot of ways, how Spike Lee does with some of his films. I like that. I like that grit, that raw energy. If you've got Amazon Prime, you do yourself a disservice not checking this film out.
All right, everybody. Well, we're here, as always, to save you a seat for another episode. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And why, Brian?
Because it's always time to go indie now. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about obnoxiously disgusting cat calls? I thought Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I thought his cat call was bad. Hey baby, let me blast that doo-doo hole just 1,000 times worse.
Yeah.
That was off. I'm like, oh my God. Does that work for you, sir? Because if so, ew.